Sillies, it's Sarcasm the Sickness, and welcome back for another episode of Skill Link. Today, you can see me drawing a commission for Sketchy Smeargle in the back there. Let's talk about Sketchy Smeargle real quick. He is a new-ish PokeTuber. I've been doing this for about, I think, 4 months now, if my research is correct. He's in the middle of a Pokemon Glazed Nuzlocke. I believe it's a Nuzlocke. Oh jeez. And he's doing some pretty cool stuff. He's got an ABC Showdown challenge, which involves going down the letters of the alphabet and building a team like based around Pokemon that all start with that letter, which is really cool. Recently, I think he just put up the first episode of Who's That PokeTuber, which is like an interview series where he talks to other PokeTubers. The first episode featured Tony Daddy, so if you want to check that out, links are, like I said, links are gonna, or like I always say, I suppose links will be in the description. The moment that, or when I last checked, which was like an hour or two ago, he was at 90 subs. And at 100 subs, I know he's planning on giving away PX21s, which is actually the headset that I'm using right now, and the headset that a lot of PokeTubers use. So if you, for whatever reason, like want to be a PokeTuber, but you don't have, like the equipment to do it, or you're worried about your headset or whatever, that might be a good place to try to start, I guess. You can try to put your name in there and see what happens. And I mean, I don't know, just PX21s are a solid headset in general, and so it's just good. They're just good. A little bit more about Sketchy Smeargle before I move on today. He is interested in doing like lots of co-ops and having co-hosts on his channel and stuff, so if you are looking for a little bit more interaction in the community, that could be a good place to start. So without further ado, like I have already said, check his channel out. Links will be in the description, Twitter and YouTube, so go and do that. And we're gonna move on to today's topic. Actually, I guess a few minutes before sitting down to record this, which by the way, I'm recording this at 9 o'clock at night, so this video will probably be going up at like midnight. And I'm sorry for that, I really am. Our sleeping schedule is just all kinds of messed up right now. So I woke up at 7 or whatever, and I couldn't think of anything to talk about. And I still couldn't think of anything to talk about 20 minutes ago or whatever when I posted saying that I probably won't have a video up today. But I guess that got me thinking. Like, I didn't want to not have a video up. I don't know, cause it just I don't want to let you guys down, And I guess that got me thinking. There's just like it's like a whole bunch of weird layers of worrying and thinking and freaking out about stuff. But whatever, just like in the end, I kind of started thinking about like fear and how sometimes I let that hold me back. And I don't know, I think that's an important thing to talk about, because I don't know, like, especially with like with Speak No Evil, kicking off and doing well, I might add. I'm actually really happy about that second episode. And because I actually, what I did instead is I wrote notes down ahead of time so that I wasn't stumbling as much, and I was able to get 5 questions done in about a half hour's time. But yeah, like with like Speak No Evil and everything, and some of the recent topics, I guess, of Skill Link, I've been talking a lot about you guys, and what you, like, I guess things that are bothering you, things that are concerning you. And I guess it's time for me to kind of dial it back a little bit and talk about me, in a way. And something that has always been a factor in my life is fear. Like, I guess when I was younger, it was like fear of failing, fear of not, being good enough, or whatever it may be. And I don't know, I know for myself, in my short adult life, I suppose, it prevents me from doing a lot of things. Like, before I started doing YouTube, and not before I started doing art seriously, but before I started actually making any kind of money off of it, I would be in between jobs a lot, which is, a nicer way of saying I was unemployed and, you know, couldn't really find anything to do with myself, I suppose. And a lot of times, you know, I would sit down and try to, you know, fill out some applications or whatever, and I would find it so hard to get started. Like, once I got started, it wasn't too bad, and I could probably sit and do like 4 or 5 in a sitting before needing to like get up and go do something else. But I found it really hard to get started because I was always, for whatever reason, I was always afraid. I would always be like, well, you know, what if I am not good enough for this job, or worse. Sometimes I would think to myself things like, well, what if I get this job and I hate it, or what if I get this job and, you know, and I don't want to do it, like what if I get this job and it takes away from things that I want to do. And that's probably the worst way of looking at it, because a job is supposed to help me be able to do the things that I want to do. But I guess that's just an example of how fear unfortunately controls my life in a lot of ways. It's a fear of many things. The fear of failing, and sometimes even the fear of succeeding. Sometimes it's scary to think of what might happen if you are actually really good at something, or you are actually, you know, really successful at something. It's like something that I'm afraid of as far as succeeding goes. Like, right now, I can kind of expect to be able to answer most, if not all, comments and talk to a lot of people and stuff. And something I fear for if my channel gets bigger, it's like, what if I can't do that anymore? What if I can't, you know, talk to as many of you guys anymore? And then some of you start to feel left out or alone or whatever have you, you know, like it's such a silly thing to be afraid of my channel growing and afraid of, you know, having more exposure and having more, I guess, influence. But at the same time, I guess it's not that weird, because, you know, it's a lot of people fear change, and I guess that's what I fear, is change, is something, you know, it's like, even though, you know, my channel growing would be very much for the best well, especially for me, but really for all of us, it's different, you know? It's really different. And I find that, you know, every time I add a new series, or every time I gain a little bit of momentum, I guess, that fear starts to creep up on me again. It's weird. It's really weird. And of course, obviously, I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid of waking up one day and, you know, I have, like, at this point, I'm almost at 2,000 subscribers. You know, I'm afraid of, like, waking up, you know, I've got 2K or whatever, and I only get, like, 10 or 20 views on each video. I'm afraid of my channel failing. I'm afraid of my channel, you know, crashing and burning for whatever reason. And, you know, and sometimes I put up videos and they don't reach the numbers that I expect them to, and that frightens me every single time. And, you know, when I have days on my channel where I look and I've either not gained a subscriber at all or lost 2 or 3, that scares me, because I don't know what I've done wrong, and I don't know how to fix it quite yet, because I am still new at this. I am still very new at this. I don't know, it's weird. It's weird for me to be afraid for such little things, but I guess it's justified. I guess at the same time, I need to be that concerned about something that means so much to me, you know? But then there's other fears that really shouldn't even be part of my life. Like, I'm afraid of people, like, not needing me anymore, I guess. I have a decent amount of friends that I've met through YouTube and stuff, and that's really cool, and I'm really glad for that. But I don't talk to them as much as I'd like to. And a lot of that, is unfortunately by my choice. Because of you remember when I talked about social exhaustion, I'm still kind of dealing with that a little bit. I'm still kind of dealing with, I don't know, just feeling like really like, I don't know, it's been really, really hard for me to want to, to have a dedicated conversation with somebody or get into a Skype call or whatever. But in that same respect, I'm afraid that these friends will move on and they won't need me anymore and they won't want me anymore. And, I mean, of course I would feel that way. Of course I would be afraid of that. But at the same time, for whatever reason, I'm afraid of making any effort towards it either. And that's so stupid. It's so stupid. It's such a catch-22. It's like I want my friends to not, leave me, but I don't want to make the effort to make sure that they don't leave me. Or not that I don't want to, I just don't feel like I can right now. And maybe it is because of that fear. Maybe it is because I'm so afraid of losing them that I just can't work up the courage to try to make sure that they don't. I don't know. I talk a lot on this channel about a lot of different things. And I love doing that. I really do. And sometimes maybe it might feel like wow, she's so brave. She's so strong. She's so like she'll just, do whatever and be happy with that and and she's just living her life and that's so great and I want to be like that. I'm really not that strong and I'm really not that brave. And I let fear get the better of me in a lot of situations. Why the heck do you think that I don't have any co-ops on my channel except for ones with Pedro? Every time I think about having a co-op with anybody else, even my friends, it makes me anxious and I don't know why. I don't know if I'm afraid of change. I don't know. I have no idea what it is that makes me so, just so, I don't know, just like bent up about it. It makes me so upset to even think about it. And I want to do this. I really do. And I've expressed interest in collaborating with other people and vice versa. Other people have wanted to collaborate with me, but I don't know, something about actually putting that into action instead of just, idly chit-chatting about it it just makes me so anxious and so upset. And I don't know why, and I don't know how to stop that. Like, I don't know what it is that I need to make that better. I don't know what it is that I need to fix that and to get over that. And there's so many things that I'm afraid of. But then I look around and I see all these people doing all these cool things with all these other people, and I want that. I really do. I want that. But I can't have it because my own fear and my own anxieties get in the way of it, and I'm afraid of being left behind. I'm really afraid of being left behind. I guess maybe that's my biggest fear. Like they say, when you ask people what their greatest fears are, a lot of them will say things like, oh, well, I'm afraid of spiders, or I'm afraid of, drowning, or I'm afraid of death, or, whatever. I'm afraid of being alone. I'm afraid of dying alone, Like, like when people, and I've had conversations like this with several different partners of mine, like, oh, well, I'm gonna die before you. That, it's an innocent little whatever comment, and unfortunately it's probably somewhat true, because men do tend to have a lower life expectancy than women for whatever reason. But that scares the absolute shit out of me. Excuse my language, but it really, I hate hearing that, because I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be left behind. I don't want to be stuck here without that person that I care about. I don't want to be stuck here without my friends. I don't want to be stuck here all by myself. And I don't know, it feels really weird. It feels really weird to be that afraid, but also be so grounded by that be so grounded by that fear, be so, influenced by that fear that I can't do anything to make that fear go away, and I can't do anything to make the situation better for myself. There's so many things that I could do, I think, but I can't think of any because I'm so scared. I'm sorry, this is a really weird and hard topic for me to talk about, but it's on my mind right now because it's the only thing on my mind. It's just, why am I so afraid of doing this? Why am I so afraid of doing that? And I don't know, I guess I was hoping that talking about it maybe would help me figure it out. And I don't think I have it figured out, and I don't know exactly what to do. I never really know what to do. I've been afraid of things my whole life. I mean, we all have, right? But I've been so extremely afraid of trying new things. Like, I don't try new foods because I'm afraid I won't like them. I'm afraid it'll taste bad. It's so hard for somebody to get me to try a new food. And it's something, like, super innocent. It's like, okay, if I don't like it, oh frickin' well, I don't like it. But for whatever reason, like, just the thought of, like, well, this could be the most disgusting thing I've ever tasted. It makes me so anxious. Like, it's so stupid that I can't even do something like that. I can't even break out of my shell enough to just try a new dish. It just feels really pathetic. It feels really pathetic to think that, that I'm that paralyzed by fear. And obviously there are some things that I'm not super afraid of. Like, I was brave enough to start this channel. I was brave enough to start, opening myself up and talking about a lot of stuff. But obviously I was still afraid of that at the beginning too. I was afraid that people would judge me, and I was afraid that people would not care what I had to say. I was afraid that, I don't know, for whatever reason, people would use it against me. But I don't know, I guess I overcame that, and I overcame, the fear of trying to actually ask people for money for my art, and now that's, not doing too bad. But it's so stupid it's just some of the things that I'm afraid of, and some of the things that take so much more time for me to overcome, like asking for a co-op, or just talking to one of my friends. I don't know, it's just really lame. It's just really lame that I have such a hard time with it. And I'm sure some of you feel the same way, where, it's just something stopping you. And I wish I had an explanation, and I wish I had a conclusion, like some sort of like, and this is how you overcome fear. Because I really don't know. It's just one of those things that eventually either I have enough people around me telling me I should do it or try it or whatever, and then I give into that peer pressure, which isn't always a bad thing, but and or sometimes it's just, like I just stew on it for so long that I either give up or I just get to a point where I have to do something, so I take like a major risk, or I do something crazy, and hopefully I don't sink, hopefully I swim. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll have a part 2 to this or something when I figure out how to overcome fear. But in the comment section, I guess let me know how you overcome fear, or if you don't, then what do you do when you're afraid and you don't feel like you can do whatever it is that you wanted to do or want to try or whatever. If you've made it this far, I would really appreciate it if you would leave a like on this video. And if you are new to the channel, and if you're new to this series, maybe hit that subscribe button and you can be up to date on more of these. And you should check out Speak No Evil, because that's kind of similar to this, but just like a bit of a different format. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you, Skill Link will be back on Saturday, and I'm sorry this is going up so late. Bye!